Hi, my name is Nolan and I'm a 15-year-old hobbyist game developer, and I have been making indie games as a passion for the last few years. And for the last little while, I have been working on this small project and publishing my progress to YouTube. I know that the progress has been a little slow, but I think it should be a little bit faster now, because at the beginning of this project I wanted to get some of the basic art done. Now that I got that done, I can do more of the stuff that I have more experience in. In the last month I didn't really get much done, but I did find a little bit of time to work on the project, but I was dealing with some things and I was also working on a different project too. I think I got enough done to still do a video this month. In this video I will be showing how I did my player movement system and also the grid-based movement for the tools that I'm currently using for the mining system, and I will be using for a few other things, and also how I did the object grab in the UI. Okay, so let's talk about my disgusting looking player. I think the actual player script and the way I animated it in Unity is pretty good, just the player's visuals aren't the best. They are something I did pretty quick in a sprite. So I guess we'll head over to Unity and I'll show you how I set it up. Also, before we get started, I just want to say this video is not a tutorial, this is just an entertainment video. Okay, so I guess I'll talk about the animation part first. So over here in the project tab I have a file called player, and in it I have the player's tile map and the player's prefab and all the animations for all the things the player can do, and I also have an input action. And then up here in the animator tab I have two trees, an idle tree and a move tree, and then on the left I have two floats for the player's direction and then a bowl for when the player is walking. So how it works basically, in between the idle tree and move tree they're connected, so when is walking is true the move tree will play, and when is walk is false the idle tree plays. And then what I have in the trees is pretty simple and they are basically the same, so we'll just show you one of them. So in the move tree on the right side I have 4 motion fields and each one is on their own edge, so it makes it easier to be able to adjust it, and then the player's animation moves to that position, so that's basically it. There's a little bit more to it, but I'm not going to go fully in depth. Now I guess I will show you the player's script. So this is basically it. It's actually pretty simple. Also, before I tell you how it works, I should probably remind you I'm also using the input action system, or else you probably won't be able to understand how it works. Actually, I will just give you the summary of it. I was going to go more in depth, but I don't want to talk about it for a whole minute. If you want to understand it more, just pause the video and read it. It's pretty simple to understand. So here is the summary. This script handles player movement input, updates the animator for animations, and moves the player using a rigid body 2D. The Unity input system allows for more flexible and customizable input handling compared to the classic input system. So that's basically it for the player. The only thing I will be changing is the art, so in the next video it will be better, hopefully. Okay, so I guess I'll talk about the grid selecting system now. Also, I'm just going to be showing the grid select system. I'm not going to be showing the mining system part because it's not the best looking script right now, so this should be pretty fast because it's a pretty simple system. Okay, so over here in the projects tab I have 4 things, 2 C# scripts and also a sprite image and a prefab object, and I'll show you what's in that. Okay, so all I have in the prefab object is another game object in it with a sprite renderer on it and the identify sprite on it, and then on the main game object I have one of the C# scripts, the tile one, and then a box collider 2D. And then in the main scene in the hierarchy I have a game object, and on it I have the other script and it's called grid manager. And yet again I will just be telling you a rough idea of how the scripts are working, but if you want me to tell you what it does exactly, just ask in the comment section. Okay, so I will start with the tile script first. So the tile script is the one that's on the prefab, so basically all it's doing is when you put your mouse over the game object the script will make the identify sprite be visible. And then all the grid manager script does is on the start of the game it will spawn a grid of the prefab object. There is a little bit more to it, but that's basically all it's doing. Okay, so I guess I'll talk about the UI a little bit, even though no one is going to make it this far into the video. Okay, so I guess I'll just talk about how I did the object grabbing system because no one cares about the rest, and also nobody is probably watching still. So this is actually pretty simple. I have 2 scripts and 2 prefabs, and that's basically it. So I'll just show you these 2 prefabs and the scripts, and then that will be it. Okay, so in the inventory item prefab I have just the main game object, the canvas, and then the image game object in the canvas object, and on the inventory item I have the image node with the image and the inventory item script. So that's it for the inventory item. And in the inventory slot it's the same thing with the inventory slot under a canvas because it's an image object, and on the inventory slot I have the inventory slot script. So I guess I can show you what's in the inventory item and inventory slot scripts. I guess we will start with the inventory slot first because it's simpler. Basically, when an item is dragged and dropped onto an empty inventory slot, this script ensures that the item becomes a child of that slot. And then all the inventory item does is when an inventory item is dragged, it detaches from its original position, follows the mouse cursor, and can be dropped back into the inventory. So that's basically it for this month's video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching.